Those of you are back, and today we have a fun video today, man. We're going to be going back to the 2024 NFL draft class and regrading every single team. You know, we're giving them, it's basically a tier list. S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, F tier. And we're going to be talking about why we're regrading it as such, and kind of just a blast in the past. Blast in the past. Now that the 2024 regular season has come to an end, it's all about the playoffs, it's all about the mock drafts, so make sure you smash the like and subscribe button, man. We're going to have a lot of content coming out. So looking at the first overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft class, Jaden Daniels. Oh wait, it wasn't Jaden Daniels, which is why Caleb Williams and the Bears, you know, they might have made the wrong selection here. Caleb Williams does look like an NFL quarterback when he's out there. He definitely has the build, but the problem here is that the Bears did not do good enough in 2024, man. You look at what Jaden Daniels did with the Commanders. This is kind of a 2-for-1 ranking right here, man. The guy that got drafted number 2, he performed so well. I mean, like, well enough to make it so that Caleb Williams has to be knocked down. Like, realistically, I'd say, yeah, Caleb Williams showed some promise at times, and at other times, he looks like a backup quarterback, man. So I'm going to put him as a B tier right now. You know, there's S tier, there's A tier. And so he's got to be B tier. And honestly, with my ranking, I'm putting Caleb Williams as B minus because Jaden Daniels was an S tier selection. Now, he wasn't necessarily the best selection made in the entire draft. There are going to be other S tier players potentially as we go here. But Jaden Daniels, he's potentially one of the rookies of the year with Brock Bowers, who we'll get to soon. But Jaden Daniels was a very, very good selection. The Commanders didn't panic. They let their quarterback come to them. And, I mean, 3 starting quarterbacks went off the board, top 3 picks. But Jaden Daniels, so far, he's been the best of the best. Drake May is up next, boys. Now, Drake May, this is very interesting because when the Patriots made this selection of Drake May, I thought to myself, I don't know, man. Like, they might have, you know, jumped the gun on this one right here. But so far, Drake May has actually, you know, played pretty darn well this season. So, you know, while he's not up there with Jaden Daniels, this is a guy they can build around, and it seems like he's only going to keep getting better and better. The fact that he's now kind of a scrambling quarterback as well, I mean, to me, that's a bit of a surprise. So I can't put him in S tier just yet. Like, for the Patriots organization, he's S tier. Let me put you that. He was an S tier pick for them for sure. But, you know, if I got to kind of keep it even across the board, I'm going to put Drake May as a solid A minus, man. He played like an A minus this year in my eyes, and he exceeded expectations. So A minus for him. The Arizona Cardinals and Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, this one is tough to rank because, you know, he's an S tier talent. I think they got themselves an S tier receiver. And Marvin Harrison Jr., I know some people might even say he's a bust, but he had a lot of positive flashes. And honestly, at points, it seemed like Kyler Murray was holding him back, not giving him enough targets. And the Cardinals just kind of were an up and down type team. So Marvin Harrison Jr., I think he's a very good talent, but I'm going to have to put him I'm between B plus, A minus. I'm putting him as a B plus, and this grade can definitely go up over time. I think this grade will go up over time. He was a good selection. He just didn't necessarily blossom as much as people were expecting in 2024, but I think he'll get better as time goes on. Now we have Joe Alt. Now the Chargers, they decided to pick Joe Alt, an offensive tackle from Notre Dame, over Malik Nabers. Now you might be thinking to yourself, are the Chargers dumb? And the answer to that is no. I'm actually going to go ahead and give this Joe Alt drafting a B+. There's a couple reasons. Well, first off, Joe Alt actually had a pretty darn good season, which you would expect for the first OT off the board, especially pick number 5. And, you know, at this time, the Chargers were a heavy, needy receiver team, man. They needed receivers bad. They let Malik Nabers go. But round 2, who'd they get? Ladd McConkey, who led rookie receivers. So they ended up getting their receiver anyway and bolster the offensive line. Now the Chargers are in the playoffs. They can leave Joe Alt on an island. He's got a lot of trust from the coaching staff this year. Joe Alt is a B+ selection, man. That's a solid grade. Malik Nabers from LSU. Now, Malik Nabers, the Giants might have done something pretty good. The problem here is that the Giants are terrible. Like, do you knock this grade down because the team sucks? You can't. You can't knock this team down. You know, he hasn't necessarily been as involved later in the season as people would have expected, but it's because his quarterbacks are nobodies. Like, he's got Tommy DeVito, the quarterback. So, you know, they're not targeting him early. They're not necessarily prioritizing him as much. In his last 6 games of the season, he had 40 passes for 354 yards. Still pretty solid, but it seems like Malik Nabers is getting frustrated with the team. regardless of that, man, he's a good talent, and you can't deny the fact that it was a good draft pick. I'm putting Malik Neighbors as an A-tier draft pick. Might be a bit too high, man, but he's good. J.C. Latham. Oh, boy. So who is available right now for the Titans? Now, keep in mind the Titans were trash. Penix was available. Rome Odunze was available. Thank goodness they didn't take him. Olu Fashanu was available. Bo Nix, Brock Bowers, and they took J.C. Latham. Now, the Titans did need offensive line. They definitely did. But they didn't solve it. Like J.C. Latham, he's a rookie, and you know, they were the worst offensive line in 2023. So that's why they went with Latham. They moved him from right to left tackle, so he made that move successfully. But he's kind of shown the fact that he's a rookie quite often, and he didn't necessarily have a great season. I'm going to have to put him as a C minus draft pick right here, man. There was better guys out there, and clearly he didn't help them. Now, the only positive here is he will be a piece they can build upon on that O-line. It's not like he's going to be a backup or they're going to bench him just yet. So he is a staple piece, but not necessarily the best pick. Michael Penix Jr., Atlanta Falcons. How do you grade this? How do you grade this one? I think you got to grade this pretty well. You can't put him as S tier, man. People expected Penix potentially to come in here and, like, you know, be the starter from day one. He was able to develop, and when he came in to develop, he played pretty well, man. It's a high draft selection, number 8 overall, to take a backup quarterback, but now he's their starter. So really, this is tough to grade until we see the 2025 NFL season. I'm going to have to put Penix as a solid grade, though, man. I mean, I'm looking at a B tier. B tier for now, definitely flexible to change. Rome Odunze, the Chicago Bears. The Bears took Caleb Williams, and they took Rome Odunze, and that's that. The Bears made the playoffs because of this, right? Oh, wait, they didn't. Caleb Williams, we put in B-. Rome Odunze, he had a solid year, man, but, like, he was, you know, he played pretty well. He had a decent amount of receiver yards on the season. I think he had some injuries he struggled with. You know, definitely someone they can build around, especially as Keenan Allen gets older. DJ Moore eventually will be out of there in like 5-6 years. Roman Odunze potentially would stay. You know, can't predict that who's staying in Chicago for that much longer, depending on how this whole ship sails, whether it sinks or swims. But Roman Odunze, I mean, B, just solid B, higher than Caleb Williams. But again, maybe it was a good pick for them because there wasn't many other receivers till later on. But maybe they could have had someone a little bit better. Now, let's go a little bit faster through these guys. We got J.J. McCarthy, going to have to be an F tier, like solid F. F tier. Maybe D tier because he didn't play. Like I can't say if he sucks or if he doesn't suck because dude like broke his leg. So it's got to be F tier for now. Maybe he can go up. I mean, he definitely can go up because we haven't seen him play. What is Minnesota going to do with him? They wasted a pick right here. Olu Fashanu, Penn State, gotta love it. But Olu did not necessarily. He didn't necessarily play the best this year. He was a swing tackle during his rookie season, but before he became a starter towards the end, like the end of the season, he was actually in the O-line as a starter due to some injuries to the O-line. He had a couple starts on the right side, a couple starts on the left side. Seems like he's better at left tackle than right tackle. It's a C+. It's a C+. It's an O-line. It wasn't sexy, but it's a solid pick. Bo Nix, Denver Broncos. It's close to S tier, man. It is close to S tier. The reason it's close to S tier, they waited till pick 12 to take their quarterback, and you can see it was the last QB off the board. This might, just based on the value they got right here, it might be, it is. It's S tier. You put Bo Nix in S tier. Where are the Denver Broncos fans at? Man, the Broncos fans are big in the comments. I'm putting Bo Nix in S tier. Great pick. Another S tier right here, man. The Las Vegas Raiders. Wow. They got themselves the steal, man. This guy could also be Offensive Rookie of the Year. Brock Bowers has to be F tier. Somebody please tell me how to say this guy's name. He is a C tier, man. Another offensive lineman. Didn't necessarily have the best season as well. They're going to expect these O-linemen. A lot of these guys, I'm going to put them in C tier as well. These guys are going to grow over time. Now we got Latu. This guy, I think he played pretty well throughout the entire season. Better than some of these O-linemen that were C's. He happened to be the first defensive prospect off of the board. Again, we had all these guys offense, and then we had the first guy off of the board right here. Solid edge rusher right here. He had four sacks through the latter half of the season from the start to finish. Pretty solid against amongst rookies when it comes to how the edge rushers look this season. I'm going to put him as a B-. Byron Murphy, Texas. This guy had a solid season too, I believe, but nothing too sexy. Really all the higher grades are for the guys that really stood out. Byron Murphy, C tier. Dallas Turner. How did Dallas Turner play? Not that good whatsoever. You know, the edge rusher only had 1 sack so far. The thing I'm looking at is it has the stats from like early December. He only had 1 sack through December. That's not good, man. You know, a lot of these edge rushers past him had a lot more sacks earlier. Dallas Turner is a D-tier type player through this D-tier grade. I don't know what kind of player he is. D-tier grade through this part of the season. Now we have Amarius Mims. You know, it was all right. The plan wasn't for Amarius Mims to start this season, but, you know, they wanted to let him kind of blossom, offensive tackle. But then eventually you have injuries, and he had to kind of get thrown right in as a starter. He's physical in the run game. He's shown a lot of flashes in the pass protection game as well. Solid pick, B-. Jared Verse. Oh, baby. This guy looked good, man. He looked very, very good. One of the best edge rushers, you know, through December. This guy for the Rams is a stud, and it's the Aaron Donald replacement for sure. Jared Verse, got to give him an A-, you know, A- draft score right there. Troy Fautanu was the Steelers selection, guys, and he went on season-ending injury reserve because of a dislocated kneecap. So he's not playing until next year. Really? He's not playing until next year. Look who went next. Chop Robinson, Quinyon Mitchell, BTJ, F. F's in the chat, and F because they choked. Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson was kind of surprisingly good for how late he was in the draft class right here. Edge rusher, he got better as things got colder in the season. Later in the season, he started heating up, and he was a solid draft pick. I'm putting him in B+. Quinyon Mitchell, it's close. It's close between A, S. I'm just going to put him right in the middle. A-tier guy right here. Surprising stud rookie for the Eagles at cornerback. Brian Thomas Jr., we all know him. Jaguars, has to be S-tier. This guy's going to start going, you know, first round in dynasty drafts. S-tier, BTJ. Terrion Arnold, nothing crazy. Decent cornerback for the Lions. But, you know, yes, he's in line with the Lions' approach. I'm going to put him in C. Wasn't anything special this season. Jordan Morgan, I believe it's pretty similar right here. Jordan Morgan, you know, it's even worse. This guy, a lot of people thought he was drafted a little bit too high. He injured reserve, right? So he's dealing with injuries. It's hard to grade him. It's a D-tier pick. Not many other guys this late were studs, though, either. In fact, I'm just going to say that all of these guys, the rest of these guys are mostly C-tier, except Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy did more as a rookie receiver than people might give him credit for. People might say put him in C-tier. The amount of responsibilities he was given was higher than all these other guys because he wasn't expected to be that wide receiver one. Kind of had to do that because of injuries. And he played pretty well. I'm putting Xavier Worthy as a B+ type grade. These guys might have been all right. Wiggins had a solid season, I believe. Yeah, so I wouldn't put Wiggins in C tier. I put Wiggins in B tier. Ricky Pearsall, you know, it's unfortunate the circumstances that happened there. So it's kind of an asterisk. I'm going to put him as a C+. He actually showed some promise late in the season, and he could be kind of a sleeper candidate heading forward. Xavier Legette, kind of similar. No asterisk there, though. He was all right. I'm going to put him as a C as well. Definitely room to improve. That is the draft grade, man. Who remembers this draft class, and where will this draft class go down in history? I mean, 14 offensive players off of the board first. Kind of wild. Smash the like and subscribe button, boys. Comment down below what grades you got. Peace out. Thanks for watching.